has chosen the storyline spread for your general monthly reading, which is a scattershot across the entire sign, telling 3, 4, or even 5 different stories for people going through different scenarios this month. The stories can be about any topic, so the floor is wide open. People say that often multiple stories do and will resonate with them, but the main goal of the storyline spread is to find that one story that is all about you. And that is what we're gonna do today. Welcome in, guys. So good to have you here. My name is Scott Sagent, and I am ready for your July 2024 Psychic Tarot reading. First order of business, let's get those cards on the screen for you so you can take a look as I explain this different format this month. As you notice, I'm not here in person. I am in an audio reading because I had a little bit of an eye injury. Don't worry, I'm just fine. However, I'm not so hot to look at right now. So we're going to do this a little bit differently this month. It's going to be a little interactive, different vibe, different feel to it. Some of you might really enjoy it, I think, because you're getting the point of view from my side of the table and going card by card. I might even throw in some graphics to illustrate certain points as we go. And don't worry if you don't see the cards that well. I know the screens, sometimes we watch these videos on small screens, our phones. Maybe you don't see the cards clearly. I'm going to make this in a way so that even if you're just listening to me, it'll make sense to you. So let's get started with your reading right now. Okay, here we go with some Taurus, and I gotta tell you, this looks like a nice little set, nice and organized. And I can't take credit for this. Spirit has really put this together, and I just tried to get it on the camera screen, but this looks super professional, so I'm liking the way that July is starting out for you guys, Taurus. And you can see in my storyline here, it's broken down into 3 stories, very easy to see vertically. Each of the 3 kind of columns of the way that these stories go. Let's begin with story 1 all the way on the left. Now, the attachment card that comes in Taurus that we talk about to decide if this story is really about you, or really to bring it in, bring it home, is the 5 of Swords. This is inverted. This is the way we want to see this card. We don't want to see it the other way around. That means chaos. When it's inverted like this, it is the War and Chaos card that is ending. So if you've been going through the crazies, Taurus, okay, well, July is wrapping that up. That is the good news. Now, how would you know if the story is about you? Well, you would likely know if things have been a little turned up in your life right now. If things have been a little wild in, June and, recently, maybe even beyond that, well, this could very well be your story. Let's find out. The next moving part we go into is the Star card inverted. This is bringing it back to you. Spirit's saying, hey, this is on you here. You got this. You actually don't need much guidance and direction here. All is well. Not only is my Star card saying, bringing it back to you, but right under it, my Oracle Angel card says almost the same exact thing. They're telling you here that everything's happening the way it's supposed to right now. So, just focus on it. Just have faith on your day-to-day decisions. It takes things back into the kind of the small, what's right in front of your face type of issues in the month of July. So much smaller picture stuff. Worry about the details actually in July. Bigger picture stuff can happen later. Now we also get this reiterated a little bit more with the next card, the 3 of Pentacles. This is the card, it's the artist card in tarot. It is the card about molding something together, or taking great pride, just like an artist or a builder. When they build something really beautiful, they take a lot of pride in it. They take great care in it. They paint it beautiful. They put so much effort and energy into it. Well, in that same way, that's what Spirit is telling you to do here too. So you just need to kind of keep putting your energy into the details. That's really what I think they're trying to drive home the most there in story 1. Hopefully it helps a lot of my Tauruses out that are going through kind of the end of that chaos. It's a direction to what to do as you conclude that weird, crazy chapter in July. Let's move into story 2, guys. Right in the middle of your screen, you can see the World card is the attachment card. So that doesn't, it's the, it's the descriptor card. It is not the attachment card. The attachment card comes in with our swords here, which is the 4 of Swords. So here, this is, if you have like a vacation on the books in July, this could very well be your story here. Or if you're just looking for a pause, maybe it's a staycation, maybe you're just taking a break from work in the month of July for a couple days, or maybe you're just, going and doing something different, but it's more of a slow energy. It's like the wind down. It is not the busy energy. So if this was was like a trip to like New York and you're doing like a tour and you're doing all these things, that is not the vibe here. That is not what they're talking about. This is more like beach in the hammock, feet up in the sand, very slow energy here. And it can also be about travel, and that's why we talked about that. So if that sounds like you, this could very well be your story. We have the World card that says that this could be worldly. You could be going to other countries or, far away. But also the World card is about completion. This is about really getting whole in the month of July. It's really very good for you to do whatever this is. I guess if you're here in the story with me, you already kind of have a clue about what this is about. And Spirit is kind of just kind of pushing you a little further here by saying like, make sure what you do here really completes you. It really checks the boxes. It gets things done. Maybe it's things off your bucket list. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but we have something coming in here that's a little bit of a booger with my 10 of Swords. You can see that fella don't look like he's too comfortable right now. And I call this card my Death by 1,000 Paper Cuts card because it's not dangerous. There's nothing in here that's going to kill you. I don't think anybody's ever died of a paper cut, at least not that I've ever heard of. But they hurt, they sting. They're not fun. And especially of 1,000 of them, you can imagine the discomfort that would cause. So here they're saying a lot of this can be mental. We have 2 swords that have come in here for the story. Swords is the cerebral, the mental suit. So things can also here be illusionary and not actually real to the touch. So because of that, you could be in your own mind or, worrying about things too much, stressors, anxiety, even depression can come in here. So whenever that comes in, I just really try to remind you to just kind of bring it back to reality, bring it back to the things that are not in your head. I know it's easier said than done for a lot of people, but a lot of you are worrying about something here that isn't really worrisome. It doesn't feel like a big deal. Otherwise, Spirit would have really kind of painted this picture quite differently, I would imagine, for you. And not just that, but you have somebody from the other side that is kind of popping in here, your beloved one. My Angel Oracle card here saying that, I'm with you and, you're not alone here. So usually this is, I've seen men come in on this card too, so I don't want to say it's strongly feminine, but it is a woman pictured in the card, so it's worth mentioning. And anyway, it's just, I view it as probably just a little pop in, a hello from heaven or a wave, or just letting you know you're not going through this alone. And even if you're worried about the trip, for example, if let's say you're going somewhere that's a little bit contentious, maybe it's for example, like if you're going to a tropical destination where, they've had some issues with crime or something like that, they're just saying here that more than likely you're just worried too much about this. You're in your own head just a little bit too much here, that kind of vibe. As we get into story 3, guys, this is a good time for me to remind you that this is a general reading. These messages are not personal or private, specific only to you, but I do offer a wide variety of services that are. And those can be found on scottsagent.com. Those are 100% about you, therefore they're very, very accurate. Here today we are reading for the entire Taurus bubble energy, and you can find context out of this reading to make it make sense for you, but at the end of the day, nothing beats a personal private reading. Not even close. Those are available at scottsagent.com from small all the way up to full service. I have a little bit of something for everybody there. And this is the best time to get one of those services because I'm doing a big blowout sale the first week of July, guys. 40% off. It is literally the biggest discount that I ever offer. July 40. July 40. Entered at checkout. We'll lop 40% right off of the price. It is already a fantastic deal without the discount, even a better deal with the discount. So huge offer there for you guys, scottsagent.com, July 40 at checkout. Story 3. Story 3 brings in the connector card of nurturing money or nurturing health. I never know when we have pentacles which one they're talking about until I get clues from the rest of the story. So that's where I start with. So they're talking about motherly energy towards finance. So it's like really saying save or, be cautious of your spending. Little stuff, no problem. But, maybe buy a car, maybe not the move in July. Maybe buy a house, maybe also not the move in July. Buy a pizza on Friday to have a nice little time with the family. That's okay. See the difference? So that's really what we're talking about here. Now, they next bring in my my 5 of Wands. This is stick fight energy. So this shows me that a lot of Tauruses are perhaps concerned about health or finances here. And Spirit here is saying that you're really worried about little stupid things. It makes me actually feel like it's more finance related, but it can be health for certain people too. So anyway, this is like Spirit's way of saying, this is a little stupid human drama stuff. This is just those silly things that those humans do, those silly humans, and that they worry about. So, we worry about paying bills and where our money's coming from and what we're going to do with it and make sure we don't run out of it and all these things. So that's the energy of what they're talking about there. And 3, kids come up too with my indigo and crystal children. This is a push toward children in general. I mean, it says in the card that like you have a deep connection with children, but I focus just the most on children. So a lot of you this may be a big concern, or you may be spending money for the kids or saving money for the kids for like a college fund or for a purpose, to buy a car, to buy braces, whatever it is. That's the kind of push there in story 3 that we talk about. There's also a card coming in about the 6 of Wands, which is a card about organization. It's in this deck, it's organization. You can see the guy is kind of putting these sticks in a row. It is really kind of getting on top of things. Maybe if we're on the financial push, we can continue saying that this is about like planning a budget, planning how your finances are going to move in and out, what you should be spending money on, what you should not. Okay, that's really what they're talking about here, is getting things in order. You have somebody watching over your back, though. You can see the little lion back there looking over that guy. This shows kind of that you're being observed a little bit here. So just to know you're being watched. And this can also be a card here that indicates a small success too, which is just a nice little win. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a huge win, but we don't care because a win is a win and it creates momentum. So it should not be discounted. Now let's get into your runestone, guys. Your runestone is something that last month I did with the angel protection reading, and that was kind of more by mistake because I forgot to do it in your normal reading, but this is where it belongs. This is really where it flows the best. And your runestone up there in the upper left corner is the rune of stand still. Okay, it's just one little dash, but it means kind of you just taking a pause. Just like the button on the remote has 2 dashes or 2 lines for a pause. In Runestone world, it is 1 dash, but it basically means that. Just take a little pause here. It makes me feel a lot like Story 2, to be honest with you, where they talked about the vacation, the reprieve, the slow down energy, kick your feet up in the sand, take a break. Okay, so that's a good version of stand still, a good, that it applies directly there. But stand still can also be like standing still with the details in Story 1. It can be standing still with the organization, like focusing on the organization in 3, and the things that you have to do, being very kind of task oriented. It can also be about all that stuff. So there we go. Very good. Now your moon cycles, guys, I always ask them now. This is kind of one of the new things I do. I ask them what moon cycle is the best for Taurus this month. And guess what they said for you, even though we didn't talk about it in your spread. And that's why I'm glad I asked, because sometimes what I did before is I would just look for clues and indicators in the cards that they show here about what is best for you. But now I just ask them directly. Just go right to the source. Hey, Taurus, guess what they said? They said full moon. So it's actually a really good month for Tauruses to get rid of something they need to get rid of, whether it be emotional baggage, people that are no good in your life, sell something, repurpose something, maybe even donate something. All that stuff is full moon energy, getting it out of your life and not looking back type of thing energy. Now the moon cycles forecast to see how these energies run in and out. I do that free for you guys every single month. You can find it on scottsagent.com along with chemistry tracking. If you want to see Taurus, what sun sign you're kicking well with for my singles, or if you're just interested to look, or you want to see what sign you should avoid and that you got to repel against in the month of July. All that stuff is posted for free on scottsagent.com on my Talking About page. So hope you guys check that out. Hope you've enjoyed your reading and can implement positive change into your July as a result, because at the end of the day, that is what it's all about. Always a pleasure to read for you guys. Have an excellent July. I know you will.
So I guess the fortune teller's right.